Season 4 of The Boys has officially ended, so now it's time to rank all 4 seasons of The Boys and Gen V from the worst to the best. Hello everybody, my name is Jesse and welcome to my channel. Season 4 of The Boys has officially ended, so today I'm going to give you my ranking of The Boys seasons 1 through 4 and Gen V. I haven't seen Diabolical, so I did not include that in this ranking. It's just going to be The Boys and Gen V. In last place for me is The Boys Season 4. Now, I still absolutely loved this season, and there's a lot to love in this particular season of The Boys. It's still everything you want from The Boys as a show: the graphic violence and nudity, the dark humor, the superhero satire, and I love what they did with all the characters. Butcher is great in this season. Jeffrey Dean Morgan is in this season, and he is perfect in every scene he's in. And there's a really great reveal with his character that I enjoyed. And I thought what they did with Black Noir was really funny. And every single character really has something to do in this show. But that also brings me to my big negative on this season, and that is, I think at times there's a little bit too much going on. And there are several plot lines in this season that I really didn't think mattered all that much, and I didn't really care about. They didn't really add anything meaningful to the season. And so I think when the show was really good, it was as good as The Boys has ever been. You have Homelander is just as terrifying as he ever was as a villain. New advancements with the Compound V that lead to some crazy stuff, and just everything was for the most part really good in this season. And then there's times where it kind of felt like it was just filling up space to get the 8 episodes out in this season so we could get to season 5, which is going to be the big finale of it all. So I love this season still, but there's a lot of stuff that didn't really, this season felt a little bit slower than a lot of the other seasons. Next up, I have Gen V. I thought this was a really great spin-off of The Boys, and it led to there's a lot of great new interesting characters in this season. It kind of explores some different things about this world, and there's a lot of great conflicts in this season. Victoria Newman is explored a lot more as a type of villain character, and the whole conspiracy throughout the season of trying to create a virus that can kill Soups is a really great, I mean, that's a really interesting premise, and I like where they go with it by the end. And it's a fantastic threat for our main characters, whereas the main characters in this show are Soups, and like the virus could be a big threat to them. Whereas on the flip side, in The Boys, the virus is something that Butcher wants to use to take down the Soups and kill Homelander. So in The Boys, it can be an advantage, whereas in this show, it's a great threat. So I kind of liked that. They didn't really, I don't know if they meant for that, but I liked that kind of black and white scenario, the yin and yang. And like I said, I liked all the characters in this season, and I'm really excited to see where they go with season 2. In third place, I have season 2. This season continues everything that we loved about the first season. Stormfront is a really great new villain that really goes well with what the show is. She knows how to work social media, and she knows how to manipulate it to her advantage to get more of a following, to get more people to like her. And The dynamic between her and Homelander I thought worked a lot of the time. Homelander continues to be a great villain in this season, and like we kind of see, he's still pretty pissed over the death of Translucent in the first season, and now he's going after trying to find the boys to get them for that, which leads them to go on the run from Homelander and all the other Supes trying to find them. Kimiko and her brother are introduced in this season, and they are fantastic new characters. Kimiko has become one of my favorite characters in the entire show, so I loved that this is where she got her start, and she's introduced in a great way. I think the only thing that didn't really work for me a lot of the time in this season is much like season 4, this season felt a little bit slower than some of the other seasons, and in particular season 1. And the Ryan plotline I didn't super care for a lot of the time. It got a lot better as time went on in seasons 3 and 4, but in this season, it didn't fully work for me. I think it's definitely an interesting premise of Homelander having a son, and he wants to be that father figure to him because he never had a father himself, and he wants to try and teach his son how to use his powers, but he's teaching him in all the wrong ways, and the boys are, of course, worried about him raising another monster like himself. I think it's an interesting idea. I just didn't love it. In second place, I have season 3. This has some of the best action in this show and some of the most wild and disturbing things up until this point I think I had ever seen in any movie or TV show, especially in the superhero genre. Especially like in the first couple episodes, you can tell right off the bat they are upping the ante and not holding back, which is what I've always loved about this show. Soldier Boy is a great new addition to the cast, and Jensen Ackles plays him perfectly. I thought he had a lot of great scenes and had some hilarious lines at times, and we kind of get to explore his backstory, which takes us back to just older generations of Supes, which I really enjoyed. And the thing that I really loved about this season was the introduction of Temp V, the idea of a kind of temporary compound V that can give, it can basically give you the abilities of a Supe for a very limited time. So Butcher and Huey use that to their advantage in this show. And I really like how it shows how it can be useful. And Butcher uses it to become a great kind of match against Homelander. It gives him basically the same abilities as him, but it can also be extremely dangerous when used too much or incorrectly, as it leads to Butcher becoming extremely sick at the end of this season, and that continues on in season 4. But of course, coming in number 1 for me is season 1 of The Boys. I loved this first season, and immediately it got me hooked. You know exactly, like right off the bat in the first 5 minutes, you can tell they're not holding back on the violence, and this is so different than anything else that we had seen up until this point. It's bloody, it's dark, and it flips the superhero genre upside down, and that is what I loved about it and what I think everybody else loved about it. This is the season with the most shock value, I think, because it's very new and we still don't know quite what to expect. And so when something crazy does happen, it kind of hits a lot harder than, say, season 3 or 4, because we're not quite used to that level yet, and we don't know what's going to happen or what they're going to be able to get away with in this show. I think Homelander is an awesome villain for that exact same reason. We don't know what he's capable of yet. So one minute he could be shaking someone's hand with a smile, and the next second he could be lasering them through the brain. So I think Homelander has some phenomenal moments in this season, and by the end of the season, you're truly terrified of whatever he can do. And I think this is just the most rewatchable season of the bunch, and I think this is going to be the one that I'm going to be most excited to revisit in the future. So there you have it. That is my ranking of all 4 seasons of The Boys plus Gen V. What is your ranking of these seasons? Let me know down in the comments below. Do you agree with my list? And be on the lookout for a lot of other content coming very soon. Until then, like this video, subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to hit 300 subscribers before the end of the year. If you could help me get there, that would mean a lot. And keep watching movies. Goodbye.